Anybody notice that the new updates for the phones really suck? Like my phone, I'm having a hard time working it. I'm actually kind of confused. eBay's gotten a lot harder to use. Even like getting that image that I used for the thumbnail was more difficult because for some reason when I go to images and try to, you know what? Who am I even talking to? Let's see. Is it even working?
So why did Aisha speak?
Working. Yes, it is. Okay.
So why did Aisha speak?
Yes, it is. Okay.
So why did Aisha speak?
I just wanted to make sure. Because, sometimes I'm muted for no reason whatsoever, and I don't know about it. But Itmar Ben Gvir, easily just one of the worst people to have ever lived. Like, he is such an evil, disgusting human being. He's one of the people I hope dies more than most. Like, I wish death upon him in whatever form it could happen. Um, you know, natural or quote unnatural. But even at this point, him being killed would be natural. You are that much of an awful human being. You don't get to live forever. That's not how that works. It's the natural progression of things that somebody as awful and as evil as Belch, as supremacist as Itmar Ben Gvir would be eliminated. I highly encourage that man to be eliminated. He is so awful. He really is so awful. I just, and the thing is, it's not like there'll ever be an opportunity to contradict that. You know, I'm never going to interview him. Nobody I know will ever interview him. Anybody who does interview him won't ask the difficult questions. So what's the fucking point? This man walks down the street in New York City thinking he's untouchable. And the people come from nowhere. People start recognizing him and come running up and they're like, fuck you, you are a horrible piece of shit, get out of here. And at first he's like walking like, that's no big deal, I'm fucking Ben Gvir. But after like 5 minutes, the security team is like, hey dude, we gotta get you the fuck out of here. We do not like you, and we're not about to let this turn into something else. But Itmar Ben Gvir is probably the world's #1 representative of Kahanism. Kahanism is a religious Zionist ideology based in the views of Rabbi Meir Kahan, founder of the Jewish Defense League, and the it's pronounced Kax, I guess, political party in Israel. Ben Gvir is the founder of the what's it called, Yehudit. It translates to Jewish Power Party. I always think it's interesting how we're not allowed to say that they have some sort of control scheme, conspiracy to over, to control all the power and all that. We're not allowed to say that. And yet Ben Gvir is the head of the Jewish Power Party. Think about how crazy that is. Kahan held the view that most Arabs living in Israel, Arabs living in Israel is blue. You mean Israelis living in Palestine, are the enemies of the Jews and Israel itself, and he believed that a Jewish Hachalic state in which non-Jews have no voting rights should be created. It's kind of amazing how many of those characters exist throughout history. And there's no other equivalent of that. There's nobody else that exists this openly and this full of hatred and supremacy. It's really strange. And it doesn't get talked about because you're not allowed to talk about it. You know, you get in trouble for talking about it. The Koch party has been banned by the Israeli government. Yet Itmar Ben-Gvir it's one of the highest ranking members in Israel. Okay. In 2004, the United States Department of State designated it a foreign terrorist organization. I guarantee Trump's changed that. In 2022, it was removed from the U.S. terror blacklist due to, quote, insufficient evidence. But ICP is a terrorist, is a terror organization of the group's insufficient evidence of the group's ongoing activity, but it remains a specially designated global terrorist entity. A special designated global terrorist entity? What does that mean? That means SDGT is a person or entity that has been designated as a terrorist by the United States Department of State or the U.S. Department of Treasury. The Kahanist Atzmin Yehudit, that's the Jewish power party. So the Kahanist Atzmin Yehudit party won 6 seats in the 2022 Israeli legislative election and is a member of the 37th government of Israel. However, it left the governing coalition between January 21st and March 19th of 2025 because the government had agreed to the January 2025 Gaza war ceasefire in the Gaza. Because they agreed to stop dropping bombs, they were like, what? We're taking our ball and we're going home. Oh my God. And then when the bombing started back up, they were like, all right, we're a part of you again. The party and the Kahanist movement as a whole have been described as espousing Jewish supremacy and fascism. I don't think that's really that hard to see. So Jewish supremacy actually has its own category. Is the belief that Jewish people are superior to Gentiles, which is literally like this is why this conversation is always so difficult, because it's like, who could ever begin to deny that shit? How could anyone ever begin to be like, nah, that's not the case? Yeah, Jews don't. It's not. They're not a supremacist organization. Like, does anybody even begin to think that way? They don't. They don't deny it. That's the part that's just so difficult to understand. Is like, what are people even basing their denials on? Because they don't deny it. The concept of Jewish supremacy arises in some discourse about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Only in some? Only in some, huh? Notice how it's the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It would be the Palestinian-Israeli, Palestinian militants, and when it's like bad, they always put the Palestinians first. According to some cultural commentators, the ethno-nationalist views, policies, and identity politics of some Israeli Jews rise to the level of a form of supremacism vis-a-vis the Palestinians and an Arab people. Okay, so this is according to some. I want to know who don't think so. I'd love to know who's going, no, they're not like that. The term has been used by a variety of critics of Israeli policies, with some arguing that it reflects a broader pattern of discrimination against non-Jews in Israel. It has also been used by American far-right proponents of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, urging fellow conspiracy theorists to disrupt city council meetings. Notice how when I title my videos properly, they go nowhere. 0 and 0. Well, let's reset. We'll see what happens.